Welcome, everyone, to Mindful Leadership Beyond Borders. This is Betska, the Guru Coach from Canada, and Raj Vashisht from Delhi, India. And today our treasured guest is Paloma Baertschi. Let me introduce you. I know you want to meet this wonderful woman. She is a renowned animal communicator. I'll bet you didn't even know such a person existed, did you? She's got over 2 decades of experience empowering humans and animals to understand each other. Notice that phraseology, understand each other on a deeper level. With heartfelt empathy and a unique ability to translate the unspoken, she has guided thousands of people worldwide to discover what their animal companions truly feel and need. As a passionate teacher for over 20 years, Paloma inspires others to awaken their own intuitive connection. Her wisdom and presence bring clarity, compassion, and a touch of magic to every conversation. I like that. Touch of magic. But you want to hear about what makes her unique. Let me read this too. She said, "I don't just communicate with animals. I teach people to expand their consciousness so they can experience true connection beyond words." And for most of us humans, we don't even understand what that is beyond words. So we're going to talk about that. Her work goes far beyond behavior or emotion. It touches the essence of being. And through thousands of conversations with animals, I've learned that they are not here to be understood by us. They are here to remind us of who we really are. So interesting you should say that, because I'm a neophyte, an amateur animal communicator, but recently I donated an animal communication session to an animal sanctuary so they could earn some money from this. And when people come into these communication sessions, they usually think, oh, I'm going to learn a lot about my dog, but the dog person was teaching the human. That's the way it was coming out, right, Paloma?
Right. Yes, so true. Yes.
So, I don't think the woman was ready for what she had to hear, but I'm very conscious and delicate, and I'm sure you are too. But it's one of those topics that we just don't talk about. Why would animals want to communicate with us, right? So let's start with that. Paloma, why don't you describe your work as an animal communicator? Put this all into context for our viewers.
Well, as an animal communicator, I communicate on a telepathic level with animals. And if you have a look at the word telepathy, tele means distance, pathy means feeling. So basically, telepathy is a feeling at a distance. And the distance is really, it doesn't matter where the animal is. Mm-hmm. So it's basically another language. So telepathic communication is another language. It's like English, French, German, telepathy. And I always say, it has a vocabulary and it has a grammar, actually. Mm-hmm. And the vocabulary of telepathy are the feelings. So humans have feelings and animals have feelings. And that's where we can meet. And that's how we can communicate. We can communicate through feelings. Now, if we go even deeper and have a look, what is a feeling? A feeling is a feeling is a vibration at a certain frequency.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who feels that feeling. The frequency is always the same. So it doesn't matter whether a human feels joy or an animal feels joy. The frequency is always the same. It's the frequency of joy. Now, since we have feelings and animals have feelings, and the feeling is a vibration at a certain frequency. That's where we meet. So that's why we can communicate with each other. Well, it's like
Right. Okay.
we
Got it.
are
Yeah.
talking English now. So we are on the same frequency. We are on the English frequency, and we are exchanging words, and we are talking in the same language. Now, if I switch now to German and keep talking in German, you're going to be lost. Probably. Because I'm not at the same frequency anymore.
Right. Yes.
So
that is so important. Thank you for clarifying that. It's about feelings and the frequency of the feelings between the animal person and the human, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Huh. Oh, I love that. That cleans up a lot of my questions around this whole thing. So tell me about what types of animals do you usually communicate with?
Oh, I have communicated with all different types of animals. I mean, the animals that you usually expect, like dogs and cats and horses and rabbits, mouse, rats, ants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frogs, little frogs, right?
Little frogs, yeah, frogs, snakes, everything. I mean, birds. I have communicated with goldfish in New York. I have communicated with horses in Japan. I have communicated with dogs in Canada. Yeah, so really, I communicated with thousands of different kinds of animals.
Wonderful. Raj, were you going to say something?
I said cow.
Cows, yeah, cows too.
Cows, yeah. I've communicated with cows. I've communicated with goats as well. So, yeah.
So, how did you get into this field? I know I kind of just fell into it. I even forget how I fell into it, but I'm curious about how you got into this field.
Well, when I was a child, I had a special connection with animals. And I think all children have special connections with animals. And animals would do the things that I asked them to do. And then the adults would come and say, how did you do that? Because they would do things for me they wouldn't do for their humans. And so I told them, well, I told them, I asked them to. Well, I tell them all the time and they don't listen to me. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm a child. What are you telling me? I mean, come on.
That's too funny.
And then I grew up and I noticed something changed in the relationship with the animals. I still had a good relationship to animals. Something shifted and I had no idea what it was. And I ended up thinking, well, children must be just different. Until in summer 1998. Summer 1998, I came back from a horse ride with my horse Leomi. Came back to the barn. It was summer. It was late. Nobody was at the barn anymore. I had my horse in what we call here an open stable, open, like in a group. And it was a little bit of an exotic way of keeping horses back then, because we used to have them in boxes. And I had my horse already in a group. So I put him into that group and went back to the car. And then I heard somebody say, stop. Now I knew there wasn't anybody at the barn, and I sort of froze.
Oh, I guess so.
What was that? So I thought, well, maybe it's the neighbor that has seen me and wants to tell me something. So I turned around, looked around, didn't see anybody, but I noticed a horse that was in the same group as my horse, a white horse, looking at me very intensively. And I got the feeling that I had to go back. And then I got the feeling that I had to turn around the corner. And around the corner, there were two barrels that were usually filled with water. Now, both barrels were tipped over and the horses didn't have any water. So I put up the barrels, filled in the water, looked around, saw that white horse standing behind me, watching me. And I thought, well, it's probably thirsty. So I filled up the barrels and the horse came, put the nose in one barrel, didn't drink, put the nose in the other barrel, didn't drink, looked at me, and I had the feeling the horse was transmitting me a thank you. Now I was standing there exactly like the expression you just had on your head, on your face, Betska. So like, what? What was that? So back then, we already had an internet connection at home, and back then I was in an email group. There wasn't any social media or anything. There were email groups where people came together and we exchanged emails. And it was an email group about natural horsemanship. I knew I had to tell the story to somebody. I knew I couldn't tell it to my then husband because he wouldn't have understood. So what I did, I wrote my story in that email group saying, look what has happened. And I didn't really expect any answers, but I received replies. And the replies were sort of saying, oh, the animal has, the horse has contacted you. Oh, the horse has communicated with you. Oh, that was animal communication. And I was sitting in front of that screen, like, what are they talking about here?
I love it.
And then I knew, well, I have to do some research and I have to find out more about this because I think that's the missing link. That's what I was looking for all the time. So I did some research and came across Penelope Smith, who is one of the great pioneers of animal communication. She already said in the 70s that she was talking to animals. And so I ordered her books and her cassettes. Back then it was still the cassettes. So I studied animal communication on my own for about 2 years. And then in the year 2000, Penelope came to Switzerland and I went to her courses. And then 2 years later, I went to the US to finish, my education to become an animal communicator. And and the rest is history.
Wow, that is outstanding. Well, what I have noticed certainly is there are a lot more animal communicators out. There's even an international association of animal communication, and a journal, an animal communication journal started by a friend of mine from Australia and so on. So it's becoming more and more prominent, which is a good thing. Let me ask you, why do you do this work? Why do you think it is important? Why do the animals need us to be their voices? Tell me.
I wouldn't say the animals need us to understand them. I would say we need to understand the animals.
Okay.
Because we can learn so much from them. I have learned they have and see the big picture, while we just have our tunnel,
vision.
that we can
Tunnel
see.
Vision.
Yeah, we have our tunnel vision, and the animals see the big picture. Now, why is that? That's because they haven't lost the connection to Earth. They haven't lost the connection to nature. They haven't lost the connection to spirit, and they can teach us so much and we can learn so much from them. That's one reason why I do it. But another reason is to help people widen their consciousness. and grow their consciousness so that they realize that the animals are not here for us on this planet. They are here with us.
Ah, yes. Mm-hmm.
And we are all, we are all on this earth together. And we are not superior to any other species. We are just one more species on that planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe that if we encounter each other on eye level as equals, we can come so much further than alone.
Absolutely. Well, listen, folks, we're going to take a pause. I know you're finding this conversation fascinating, but we're going to be back in segment 2 with Paloma Baertschi. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.